You play with all my time this morning. Now you ready? Hey, let me say this.
Good morning.
Anybody that's watching on YouTube, before any of you Negroes text me,
But
so you got a do-rag on. This is not a do-rag. It's a hat.
That's from Chicago.
Before anybody texts me.
You know what?
It's Shell, you wearing that? Like somebody literally said, Shell, you wearing the do-rag. It's not a do-rag.
You do like a rap from here, though.
It's a hat.
It look like a head wrap.
You'll see them little lines, the little ridges. It's a hat.
Where they was from? The ones that told you that was a do-rag.
They country.
I mean, I thought
it was Blyesburg, Tennessee, somewhere.
I'm not gonna call his name.
I mean, honestly,
country.
I thought it was part of a leg warmer.
really, Jermaine, you start right away. Just 2 minutes in. Here we go. We ain't even 2 minutes in.
I thought it was part of Long John.
I got to tell y'all, though, I mean, people reach out to me and I interact with people. And they just be like, Negro, y'all be messing my morning up. I can't get nothing done. I be laughing all morning thinking about y'all. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad they laughing because I'm crying. I can't get nothing done.
Oh, please.
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 I can't get nothing done.
Shall I tell the listeners how my morning started?
You know what? Let's not.
It was peaceful. It was dark in here. And somebody come beating on the window like somebody was chasing them.
I was just
You singing what?
Hearing footsteps in the dark.
Keep hearing.
That's the way she ran to the door. Like somebody was chasing her. I said, well, Lord, it is dark out there.
Yeah.
You know what?
And there was some people walking.
Let me be clear. You ain't never seen me running because nobody was chasing me.
This is true. I ain't never seen you run.
Never. Don't worry about it, fam, because I can.
We should have a runoff then.
And you know what? You gonna be able to clock my time because I'm gonna come right over there.
No, I don't want to time you. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know.
You're gonna be able to clock my time.
But no,
but I don't have time for y'all this morning. I didn't get to all my stuff yesterday.
I am unequivocally.
So you and that thing
I didn't even do nothing.
I don't have time for you this morning.
I didn't even do nothing.
He came in here on some nonsense.
I didn't even do nothing.
Standing around posing like
we were talking about
see me.
Now listeners, me and Michelle were talking about trick or treating, and he came in.
I came in on the trick part,
and it was like, "Why y'all talking about me? Why y'all talking about me? Because he's a trick or a treat." He
came in.
He said he came in on the trick.
I came in on the trick part.
At least you know.
Why y'all talking about me and I wasn't you defend myself?
Some bros don't know.
I trick you into giving me some money. That's the only tricking I'm doing.
Yeah, clean it up for yourself.
See, well, you know. There is
will you allow Michelle to open the show, please?
No,
sir?
He will not.
See, I didn't even do it. That was you.
Turn the air on. My glasses fogging up. 5 minutes.
I got it. Jermaine, don't worry about it. I got it.
Start fogging up.
Well, you know why? Because you a hot tamale.
No, I'm fine.
Not no tamale, man.
It's too hot tamale.
What she stuffed with? I want to know what she's stuffed with.
You're always inappropriate. You're always inappropriate.
You said you was hot tamale.
Nobody like
tamales is rolled in a,
nobody like
what you rolled in, Michelle.
Old ladies that call his show, don't nobody like you. That's exactly why.
What she stuffed with.
Yeah,
don't nobody
she full
like
of
you.
it. Extra meat.
Oh.
Extra meat is the extra treat, baby.
Is we gonna do this?
That's right.
Big belly.
That's right. Oh Lord, the name called.
Is that what we doing?
Yeah, extra meat is an extra treat.
Yeah, you boy.
Come on, Michelle. Let's do the show this morning.
Only because I love Jackie.
Now you want to do the show?
Yes.
Yeah, because he know Kid Ray get him.
Yeah.
Okay, look, and I may think about it and still.
you can still love Jackie and tear my behind up.
Come on now. All right, let me. Can I open my show?
Please, that's what I was asking Jermaine to let you do.
See, I didn't even do nothing. I'm always the one that's getting in trouble.
Welcome.
Like you don't know where to go from there. Good morning.
Because y'all threw me off. Y'all threw me off. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM, aka The Asylum. You are listening to Say Something Real. And to Shelby, who checked in already this morning. Good morning, Shell. How you doing this morning? Tell that baby boy I said good morning. What's happening, Dion? Look, let me say this. I'm not going to them this morning. I'm just gonna say, hey,
How you doing, sir?
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And
well, Michelle, I did want to speak if you would allow me to. I just wanted to, I picked out a word for this show today, unequivocally.
Why? Why?
Because there is
why
none.
Keith Paris is unequivocally the word of the day. Why?
Because there is none.
No, here we go.
Like you two that I would rather be with. No show, no other co-hosts, no other co-workers that I would rather be with. You two.
I'd rather be with you.
You are the sunshine of my life.
We wouldn't know that. See?
Well, that's unequivocally. I was.
Join what we was on.
Man, you gotta join the caravan of love over here, man. It's love over here.
All right.
Really? Is that what y'all doing?
That's why I want to go to you. That's why I won't say nothing.
Yep.
So
no, Michelle, I wanted to say that I have given you a new nickname and I want to share it. I want to share it.
You want to share it?
I stayed up all night come up with this name.
like Snuffleupagus.
Right.
Heavens and Mercury.
What Devo?
MB. That's it. I'm just calling you MB from now on.
Okay.
Somebody hit with heavy politics already in the chat. Like, why on earth would Representative Sylvia Ortiz Vance?
Yeah. Oh no.
Really?
It's gonna go down. Don't worry about it, y'all. I'm getting to it. I'm going to go through the show quickly today to try to cover as much ground as possible. But let me start. When I say this year is adding up to be a year of some losses. Angie Stone, my man Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah.
When I say Malcolm Jamal Warner still hits hard, it still hits hard. People have been posting things that he's done, and and then the phone, alert goes off yesterday and says that we have lost Deangelo, and I'm just like, hold on, wait a minute. I knew that he had been ill. There had been a lot of conversation about missed shows. But Deangelo was one of these people that could be a recluse. He'd make a song and then an album, and then he'll fall off the scene for years. And you never knew. And then he had a little bit of time when he was battling substance abuse. So he was in and out. But this man was so phenomenal that I just have to start with this brother this morning. His name is actually Michael Eugene Archer from South Richmond, Virginia, born on February 11th, 1974. His pops was a Pentecostal minister, and his mother was a legal secretary. Bless you. As a child, he played the organ and was a part of the choir at his father's church, but he spent a whole bunch of time poring over broad-ranging music collections of his uncle and briefly studied classical music. After moving to Chesterfield, Virginia for high school, he started a hip-hop group, IDU, which stood for Intelligent, Deadly, but Unique. With his friends, he appeared in talent shows, and at 16, after winning a local contest, he went to New York to compete in Amateur Night at the Apollo. He won, singing a cover of Johnny Gill's Rub You the Right Way. After that, he got a recording deal, auditioning for a music publisher. He performed a Jodeci song, a gospel song, and a Miles Davis song, all in one audition. So just showing the range that this brother had, 3 distinct strands of musical obsessions that ultimately he would meld into one sound, one approach to his music. And the name Deangelo is actually a derivative of the name Michelangelo. Yep.
Good as much because he was a genius.
Yes. And so he got signed to EMI. His first album, Brown Sugar, came out in 1995. And let's be clear, this brother passes away at 51. Deangelo only made 3 albums. He only released 3 albums in his entire career. But every one of those albums, 1995, Brown Sugar, in the 2000s, Voodoo, 2014, The Black Messiah. When I tell you all of these albums, Rolling Stone has done an extensive piece on him. I encourage you to read it. The New York Times, his obituary is so long in the New York Times that when I printed it on 11 font, I still had 4.5 pages.
Wow.
Of printed paper when I got done reading everything that the New York Times had to say about this brother.
This was his obituary?
His obituary. Well, yeah, like that's what they call their obituary in the New York Times when they write it up.
Okay.
Yeah, a reporter actually put it all together. But any of his albums in Rolling Stone they talk about on its own would be the crowning jewel of another artist's career. Deangelo made all 3, never released anything beneath that sky-high standard. Left us with a catalog that's rich in melody and meaning. What Rolling Stone said, possibly some of his greatest songs, and y'all can tell me, the title track, Brown Sugar. I played that last night, went to sleep listening to Brown Sugar. Lady, 1995. Raphael Sadiq had a chorus for Lady. And that went back to the 80s. And he and my man hook up and make this thing a thing. Cruising. Oh my God. Smokey Robinson's Cruising from the 70s was one of the songs that just over the top. And She's Always in My Hair.
Yeah, she's always in my hair.
Oh my God. When he did Nothing Even Matters with Lauryn Hill.
Nothing even matters.
Oh my God.
Yeah, what a tune.
How does it feel? Untitled.
That would make me want to take my clothes off. Don't play that one. Don't play that one.
That was one of the things that, like put this dude in a whole nother hemisphere.
Now, he didn't like it.
He didn't like it.
After he did that.
I mean, and but that's where you also got to you realize that there were some struggles there because you did this video in a state of undress.
Well,
you had on a chain.
Well, yeah.
And you was cut for days.
Yeah.
So people was gonna be looking at it.
He
he was pressured from the record
company. Looked at as a
But again,
and I've struggled with that myself too. Within my person.
You struggle with what?
Being a sex symbol,
You struggle with what?
I'm still going through that, man. I mean,
he just struggled with being a symbol, a real big symbol.
With that big old part that
struggle with being a symbol.
I know what he goes through, man. Because I have struggled with that within my person.
Okay, moving right on. Devil's Pie.
Yeah,
Send It On.
Yeah,
oh my God, Send It On. Jesus Christ.
Michelle, and I know you're doing that, but quick plug, Ola. Between 3 and 5 today, we're gonna lay him out.
Please do.
We're gonna lay him out.
Please do.
And then Tavis is doing a special where he's gonna, play some of the interviews that he has done with him, and it'll just be a Deangelo day to day around these parts.
I'll be locked in all day because, like I said, I did my own thing on Sirius last night, and you could tell everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, on Alexa, because they was back to back to back. I just said his name one time, and everything
you didn't have to do nothing else. It was
back to back. The song "Send It On" is when he talked about basically fatherhood, and then he worked on it alongside Angie Stone, his child's mother, and he does have 2 other children outside of the relationship with Angie Stone. And it went through a interpolation of Kool and the Gang's Sea of Tranquility. And I love that a lot of the stuff, and he intended it to be a lullaby for his baby, for his son. And so I love that a lot of his stuff was rooted in old school, in a nod and a tribute, to artists of the day. When he did Imagine with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre.
Imagine, that's my joint.
Come on. And this song just ends up being so crazy.
And Michelle,
Go ahead.
I really am curious from an artist standpoint. When you hear a Jermaine and So Serious, and you see the influence, if you're a music buff like we are, you see the influence that a Deangelo has had on Jermaine. Jermaine, how do you feel this morning, man? I mean, where are you at in this whole piece?
Man, it's so crazy, man. I've been getting phone calls from all over. When I just walked out of the room, it was a phone call from my boy from LA, and he was like, "Man, I just wanted to say rest in peace, Deangelo. I know that was your favorite idol as an artist. Like, I've been listening to this dude since the '90s, and structuring my music, my original music around the soul music that he put out.
Okay.
And because I mean, coming from the same background, playing in church, growing up in church, playing, listening to different genres of music, and then making my own style as far as the gospel music and the songs that we was singing that I wrote. It don't sound like the typical gospel music. It sound like soul music.
Yeah.
And so
And one of the things that he talked about was that he did not like being pigeonholed as like neo soul or R&B. He said, "I sing black music."
Yeah.
He was very, very clear.
Yeah.
It's all those things, but it's black
one.
music.
Yeah.
And he pushed back a lot when people tried to like box him in.
Right.
But I think that you are so right. The number of artists that have been influenced by this brother.
Yeah.
And like I said, to think about that, you only put out 3 albums.
And
the awards.
That's heavy. That's heavy to only have put out 3 albums
since the '90s, and you still stayed relevant.
But he was knocking Grammys on every one of them.
Yeah, every one of them.
Yeah, he was. I mean, so I like what he did. And thank you, Jermaine,
I was listening
for that.
to Tavis yesterday, Michelle, and he was just saying that when you start looking at, if you will, neo soul, Deangelo was a very big part of that, and how it looked. He helped shape neo soul.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just going, like I said, I respect what a brother said. He didn't like that. He would have pushed back on Tavis. He didn't.
Because when you see,
he didn't like that.
Because in reality, when you say neo soul, you would picture a fist in the air, afro, and that was the black music. That was because when we was in Philly, that's when I first, got a hold of the soul music, listening to that Jill Scott live album live in Washington. I think they was in Washington D.C. or Philly, one of them. But just that whole when they mix go with the soul and that whole structure, I was like, man, what is this? And this was back in the '90s, man.
Yeah, I mean, and if people have tried to, classify the music, they talk about when you combine the soulful sounds of the '70s, R&B, contemporary, jazz, hip hop, funk influences, you bringing it all. But it was actually a phrase that was coined by an executive, Kedar Massenberg, back in the '90s, who was over at Motown. And that's what he used to describe and market a new wave of artists whose music was both rooted in the soul of the old and currently influenced by some current sounds. So like this one brother from Motown actually is credited with even coming up with the terminology neo soul. So that part was interesting. I'm gonna go to the phone line, but I'll just end here in relationship to my man. He had the piece that he did with Dre when he talked about, I wonder if brothers had never seen colors, if we would have less death. It was one of those things that just stuck with me. And then when he did Charade in 2014, and he said one of his lyrics in that, it was like a Black Lives Matter anthem. If you've never listened to Charade by Deangelo from 2014, please go back and check that out, because he was reading a lot of James Baldwin before he wrote this song. And he talks about in one of the quotes, it shows how ongoing this blank is, because I wrote that even before the Trayvon Martin thing happened, is what he was saying. And it's crazy. We're still in the streets protesting the same blank, you know. So check out Charade, 1,000 Deaths. This comes in um, where he has a sample of Dr. Khalid Muhammad, um, who was talking about the Black Revolution, and Black Messiah arrives in the death of Michael Brown. So that's the other thing. And that's why I wanted to make sure I referenced the fact that he had a early band or an early group that he had put together, and the word intelligent was in IDU. Intelligent. This brother been a thinker always, and his music has been infused with political protest, race consciousness, you know, Black power, Black love. And it was one of those things that always drew me to Deangelo. So again, please tune in today from 3 to 5 to hear the tribute to this brother. Tune in to Tavis Smiley later this afternoon to be able to hear his show. And before I go to break, let me grab this caller real quick, and then we're going to roll through the rest of this morning. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Well, happy Vaseline damn day.
What's going on, Arizona? How you doing today? He's so ridiculous. He's so just can't call right. What, man?
Two things. So I sent you something yesterday. Well, let's go to Deangelo first, though.
Okay.
My favorite song by that man was "The Devil's Pie."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Walk the line.
When I think about it, I can't not think about when they're kicking in the door on Belly.
Yeah.
They was kicking in the door. I said, man, they was making that devil's. They was in there doing that devil's pie.
You are. You're right. You're right. And I went back and pulled it up. It's Devil's Pie, where Deangelo portrays what Questlove has described as the money-hungry, jigified state of the world we're in. Using money euphemisms for money, cream, cheese, dough as the metaphorical devices for the sinister side of life. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I hit that because I remember the way people were dissecting that song in college classes.
Yeah, and well, because because how Belly that movie was so right, especially for New York.
Right.
Yeah.
And DMX is at his time, Nas was at his time, man. You had, and then a matter of fact, I seen an interview. The black girl, her name was Keisha on there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When DMX they got into it and they did that love scene, she said that wasn't even her doing that part. She just did the part when she was jealous. She said she couldn't do that part.
I mean, because it was a lot, man.
it was physical, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like that. Look, I've only watched it once. I've never watched it more than once.
Really?
And I know people like it's in rotation at the house.
Yeah,
you come over there at any given time and they may have it on. That's how my son used to be about Friday. It was on at any given time.
Or BT will wear it out. BT used to wear a movie out where it make you don't want to watch it no more.
Right, absolutely. What was your second thing?
I sent it to you yesterday, man. They got even a bunch of white folks is mad because we got to pay the $493K.
For what was going on in Glendale, Arizona. And asking about Charlie Kirk.
So whatever information you was looking up about being private, it wasn't private. We got to pay for it.
Well, they acted like the Turning Point USA was going to be paying for something. And so I was trying to figure out, like, was y'all part like the police and all of that? But almost $500,000 for this man to have a funeral and taxpayers picking that up?
Yes, sir.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And so what were people saying?
Oh, man, them white folks is like, man, can we just put that on the Turning Point bill? Hey, can we send that to the wife?
Because she done got it in donations. She done got it. I mean, but everything about that Charlie Kirk funeral was so the hell out of order. You got a military guard carrying his damn casket, like he was in the military and being given honor.
Even before you got to the funeral, he was flown on Air Force One or Air
Force
Two.
Two. Yeah,
Air Force 2.
I mean, everything about that funeral was out of order. Everything about it.
And it's so many things trying to dissect that it's that. First of all, when they first put the picture out of the dude who said it was, them two dudes don't even look alike.
So many people have said that.
They don't even look alike.
So many people.
They don't have the same nose, bone structure, or nothing like that. And then you got where people dissecting to where that bullet couldn't have did that. You got people looking at other people's fingers, showing how certain stuff went off and hit them, and people passing stuff around, putting it in their pocket, moving it around.
Yeah, detonator. Yep, detonator. And and on top of that, though, what's really crazy, that day, there was a Dairy Queen that was set up right over in that area. After the shooting happened, they took down the Dairy Queen. Look it up.
Oh, they didn't want that to be no kind of
Dairy
Queen up or nothing, huh?
That they say he went. Yeah, look it up.
See, like all that is fishy. Then they go back and say, hey. Then it goes all the way back to the wife, to the wife. Her part. She's been knowing Trump for quite some time already. Before she even knew,
she was a model.
Before she even knew Donald Trump, so where she was already set anyway.
Yeah, she was a model, and she had something going on that she was doing something with kids or something. In what was that, Romania or something like that? She had an orphanage thing that she was doing kids. And kids was coming up missing, and she got put out. You can look that up too.
Look, all I know is it's a whole lot about this whole piece
man,
that was not right. And I think because I had to go back and look it up, and it was about that they said that the guy that they said shot him, they spotted him at that Dairy Queen, but that was after the Charlie Kirk shooting.
Exactly,
not beforehand. And I know they had been releasing these images of showing them there, and then people was like, well, why does this matter? Because they, people have just been trying to figure out, like, again, some of this stuff don't add up and does not line up. And so how the Dairy Queen piece comes into play, the photograph, which had not been released previously, appears to show him at the Dairy Queen. And then Candace Owens was one of the ones that was talking about this. And they said the image was taken at 6:38 p.m. after the shooting, and it appears to show him wearing a maroon t-shirt with the red cap on, because they said he had time to change clothes. Owen said the nearby Dairy Queen was around 15 minutes away from the campus. And so that's where he went to go, because they said he changed clothes when he left.
Right.
So he used that Dairy Queen to go change his clothes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I understood it.
That dude, that I don't think none of them two dudes did it. That one of them families got paid off, and that's that, because first of all, they done talking about it so fast.
And then where did the Dairy Queen go? And why would you take it down? Why would you?
Why? Well, I mean, depending on because Dairy Queen was also connected to the shooting of the healthcare executive, because Luigi must have ducked off in there. I thought
they found him at McDonald's, right?
No, but it was something about Dairy Queen connected to Luigi too, and I'll have to go back and remember what it was. I don't know specifically, but there was some kind of little crazy, because he was arrested in McDonald's, but he was arrested in McDonald's. Okay, so not a connection. But a lot of people are trying to figure out what's going on.
Somebody lying.
Yeah, somebody lying, because and look, man, look how fast the funeral was. They picked him up, memorial, boom, funeral, boom, done.
Man, he didn't even have an autopsy. He didn't even have an autopsy done on his body.
Well,
man, that funeral happened so fast. I think that body was still warm, man.
For the simple fact that if he got hit with a sniper bullet, and they actually had an Army general talking about this. If you get hit with a sniper bullet from that far away, it's going to take your neck off, and you're going to have an entry and an out from where the bullets. So that was like for it to just be on one side, and then they showed how his shirt moved up and his necklace moved from when they slowed it down from the microphone that was hooked up to his shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I seen that. It looked like an explosion. It didn't more look like It didn't look like more like a sniper.
That's
because,
why they didn't do the autopsy.
All right.
'cause they-
Look, I know that these questions will definitely continue. It's a whole lot about that was crazy. But yeah, I did see that and I appreciated you sending it to me because that was a question I was raising in terms of who was paying for that. And now to find out that Arizona taxpayers are on the hook for $500,000
That's crazy.
for this dude to be buried is crazy, bro. Thank you. I
Could be
appreciate
more than
it.
that because you had presidential and whenever they come into
Eh,
town, you got
wait,
other kind of
what-
security measures that must be taken and all of that.
Wait, one more thing, Debo, before and a lot of people's asking who was paying for the cleanup. The cleanup was massive.
Whoa.
And so
They
that's
come-
not included in that $500,000.
No, that's not included in that.
Oh, okay. That's so. Yeah. Now to Debo's point about how much more this could cost,
Yeah.
I think it's just like it's scandalous that they were able to get away with doing this. Like taxpayers need. I can't believe members of Congress and black, members and Democratic members of Congress are not saying we want to know how that man body got on Air Force Two and who paid for that, and we want to know how much it costs. Like there
And it
are
happened-
things we should be
and-
doing.
And it happened so fast. Everything was rushed.
Yeah, like, and you're right.
Yeah.
There was not a whole bunch of time. So what is going on? And it was okay. Thank you, bruh. I appreciate it. No problem. The other thing, Donald Trump. Since we on Charlie Kirk, let me stay there for a second. Donald Trump just awarded Charlie Kirk the Medal of Honor posthumously. Oh, I'm sorry, Medal of Freedom. And I'm just like, okay, so the hateful man, the racist man, gets the Medal of Freedom. But I wanted to go back for a second and look and see who else has gotten that award in the U.S. So this is what company they put Charlie Kirk in. And they got it broken down. I'm looking just year by year. It's so many. Lord have mercy. This is so long. But Colin Powell, Ben Carson, former U.S. Senator Elizabeth Dole, James Clyburn, Mike Bloomberg, Opal Lee, Miss Juneteenth, Catholic priest, Jesuit Catholic priest, Father Gregory Boyle, Matthew Shepard Foundation. I'm just looking. Medgar Evers, Jim Thorpe, Olympic gold medalist. Like the names are weighty. And then you got Charlie Kirk, who just a hateful individual who said some of the most racist and derogatory and inflammatory things about people ever. He gets awarded the Medal of Freedom. Okay. So then I saw where the State Department, since we on Charlie Kirk real quick, they started taking people's visas if they determined that they had said the visa holder had said something negative about Charlie Kirk. So this past Tuesday, today is Wednesday, this would have been yesterday, the State Department revoked the visas of 6 people for making what they called incendiary social media comments about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The 6 people, none of whom were named, who came from Argentina, South Africa, Mexico, Brazil, Germany, and Paraguay, had made some posts that talked about Charlie Kirk deserved to be killed, or some iteration of that. And the State Department said the United States has no obligation to host foreigners who wish death on Americans. The State Department continues to identify visa holders who celebrated the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk. So we got the State Department with all of the different things we got going on in this country who are rooting through social media to find out if any visa holders were able to have their own opinion about Charlie Kirk in a country where you are free to have your own opinion. The whole foundation of this nation is about freedom of thought. So these people could be scientists, they could be doctors, they could be, engineering students, people that are here to contribute in some crazy, meaningful way. So if somebody say Louis Farrakhan deserved to be killed, is the State Department going to get rid of their visas? If somebody say Barack Obama deserved to be killed, is the State Department going to be actively rooting through social media posts to get rid of them and revoke their visas? They are not. Again, white people racist nonsense. All of this for Charlie Kirk. That taxpayers are paying really decent salaries for our State Department employees to root through social media because somebody might have said something ugly about Charlie Kirk.
That I'm not connected, I never even heard of this dude till he died.
A lot of people were not familiar with Charlie Kirk. A lot of congressional members said they didn't even know who he was. But you had to operate in a certain space to understand, who this guy was. But Donald Trump comes out and talks about, he gives Kirk a lot of credit for helping him win the election with younger white males. They have infiltrated college campuses. And I just want to be clear, I got to go to break, but I mentioned this briefly in passing, how Republicans connected to Turning Point and these different kinds of organizations have been going to historically Black colleges and hosting events on these colleges. I think it's been 10 that they, got permission to come on the yard and try to recruit Black college students, primarily Black men, to be able to join the Republican Party. And I have said out loud, and what the hell are the Democrats doing? When you have people actively running to engage Black college students, because that was Turning Point's whole niche, high school students and college students. And they are continuing the tradition and got a road show visiting 10 HBCUs with their special brand of poison. And the Democratic Party's response to that is what? In part, the Democratic Party's response is to run away from Black voters, because we got to attract all of these white people who fell in love with Donald Trump and who may be slipping and going over that way. So we're going to ignore the base of Black people that have supported us so we can chase voters that don't mess with us anyway. That's my observation. Let me take a break. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I'll be right back. All right, look. I gotta just say this real quick too, since we was on Charlie Kirk. Thank you, Arizona, for kicking this up. There is an article in the Journal Sentinel today talking about the fact that, of course, the Republicans in Wisconsin want to do a resolution to honor the life of Charlie Kirk. And of course, drama has jumped off because Democrats,
Voss,
huh?
Mr. Voss.
Oh, I mean, look, we gonna get to it. Democrats have jumped off and said, hell no. So the Wisconsin lawmakers debated a resolution to honor him on what would have been his 32nd birthday. Democrats objected to the resolution, citing past comments by Kirk they described as racist and bigoted. And Republicans defended him. All you black Negroes that run around with your Republican hat on, they defended Charlie Kirk, condemning the political violence that led to his death and calling for civility. Don't talk crazy, you won't get crazy. I don't know how people believe that this man can say some of the most vile, disgusting things ever, and that they should be able to stand up and do a resolution for him. But we couldn't get a resolution for Stacey Abrams, who actually has ties to Wisconsin. We had white legislators trying to tell black people who they couldn't honor because they found them offensive. But you want black folks and white Democrats and other people of color in the legislature to honor this damn racist.
I remember you spoke to.
Come on, man.
Black History.
Yeah.
When y'all were trying to do y'all celebration.
Year after year.
Yeah.
Year after, and even this last year, when this crop of Democrats we got in right now was running around celebrating about, we finally got a Black History Month resolution passed. Ask them whose name they had to take off the damn resolution to get it passed. They still had to capitulate to these damn racist Republicans and take a black person's name off to get the resolution through. And I'm sorry, because I'm of the camp, nobody left on the field. I ain't leaving nobody on the field for Republicans and they racist nonsense. But these Democrats were celebrating. Woo, woo, we got a resolution passed. But you had to leave a brother on the field.
Do that again. I want to see you.
Woo, woo.
You see that, Jermaine?
I'm just saying. They was happy as hell.
Hope you're watching Facebook and YouTube.
But you had to leave a brother on the field to get your damn resolution passed.
Michelle, one more time. Do it again.
I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, come on.
Woo,
I'm not doing it anymore.
And I'm just like, it's a hot mess, man. And I'm just sitting there. I heard it when they was all running around. They was posting on Facebook. Look what we did. We got a resolution passed after you left a brother on the field. Ask them white boys, is they going to leave one of theirs on the field for y'all? They are not. They are not. But, we always got to bend. Y'all better go back and listen to Letitia James. I will not bend. I will not bow. I will not break. I don't care if we never did another resolution. One of the things I used to tell them all the time, I used to tell Lena and them all the time, you know what? Because of the way they did black people on Black History Month resolutions, my name would never be on another resolution again in this state. I don't care if it was to honor my mama. See, y'all don't know how to fight. My name wouldn't, and every resolution that they had, I would have been like, you know what? You are, this resolution to honor Mozella Braxton, that's my mama name, to honor Mozella Braxton is so incredible. I wish I could sign on to it. But since you racist Republicans in this body can't sign on to no black resolutions that we put forward, I'm not going to be able to do it. Every time a resolution got introduced, I would have stood up and said the exact same thing. They would have got sick of me. But these people,
we can't count on Michelle. She's not going to sign it.
Yeah, because remember, and Keisha just reminded me when they did the Rush Limbaugh, this pill popping, illegal prescription writing drug addict, they did a resolution for him. But you don't want Stacey Abrams to get a resolution. But we can give the man who actually caught a case for fraudulent prescriptions because he was a drug head. We're going to honor him. And we're going to honor the racists who talking about black women are unintelligent. We too stupid to get the jobs that we get, and we taking jobs from qualified white men. Like, just think about that for a second. And so one of the things that they say in the article, State Senator LaTanya Johnson said, quote, the empathy that I have for his family, Charlie never spared or even thought about extending that type of empathy to people who look like me. She said after reciting quotes from Kirk about Black Americans, including a 2023 comment he made saying a certain prominent Black Democratic women, quote, "We do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously." Johnson recounted 8 quotes attributed to Kirk related to minority groups. She described Kirk's comments as racist and bigoted. But here comes the Republicans to the rescue. Senator Chris Kapanga out of Delafield, responding to Senator Johnson's criticism of Kirk was, quote, "ignorance, racism, and hatred personified." That's what he gonna say about LaTanya Johnson's comments. That it was ignorance, racism, and hatred personified. He said there was no reason to trash Kirk because the lawmakers disagreed with his viewpoints. He could say racist stuff. And when LaTanya Johnson, Senator Johnson, says that the man said racist stuff, he calls her ignorant, a racist, because she repeated what he said. Just like, I'm trying to think of the news, the editorial person on the Washington Post who gets fired because she put his own words up on her Facebook post or her Twitter post. Do you see? So when Will Martin and Gerard Randall and David King, let's call these Negroes names, and all of them sitting up in here with their boys in the Republican Party, could you please go ask them how they called a Black woman ignorant and racist because she regurgitates the comments that was racist and ignorant made by your boys? Could you please go ask them? And then Black men, come back to the radio station and tell us what they said. Because, see, I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all. When I say I'm sick of y'all, I'm sick of y'all. Because y'all sit right here in these white boys' faces that's racist in the Republican Party and skin and grin, and they throw you a contract or hire you to do some damn minority consulting, and that washes away all of the other stuff. This man calls Senator Johnson the personification of ignorance and a racist because she repeats the ignorance and racist things that Charlie Kirk said. Y'all too much. I got to take a break. Caller, I see you, but let me take this break. Democrats, keep fighting. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Republicans trying to turn this damn man into some damn kind of martyr, talking about he praised Kirk, Representative Nate Gustafson praised out of Nina, praised Kirk as a figure young people, especially young conservatives, could look up to. That's why you had that group of Republicans who done got caught with them text messages calling Black people monkeys and niggas. That's y'all young Republicans. That's who Charlie Kirk was helping to inspire. And I'll talk about that story too. But all of the young Republicans now, 28,000 messages or some mess like that, where they done just made fun of people being raped, said some of the most vile, disgusting things ever. Your boy said it out loud. Just like that fool Alex Jones, who was talking about them kids that didn't get killed in Sandy Hook was all a hoax. And he in court now trying not to have to pay for lying about what happened to them children. Republicans, what do y'all stand for, man? Power cannot be this important that you roll over everybody in this way. Y'all disgusting, man. I got to take a break. I'll be right back.
WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. Before I switch gears on this story, let me also take a moment in that article, because I meant to reference this. Kaylin Haywood, who is now the Assembly Assistant Minority Leader, in his remarks, he noted, to the point I made about the Black History Month resolution, he noted that the legislature has struggled in previous years to reach agreement over who should be honored in resolutions, including ones commemorating Black History Month. And then they talk about how in 2019, the Republicans blocked a resolution that would have honored Colin Kaepernick, who is from Wisconsin, and that the only way they could get it through was that they wanted Colin Kaepernick's name taken out of the resolution. Colin Kaepernick, born in Wisconsin, kneeled during the national anthem. He ain't never said an ignorant, racist, divisive word in his life. A military veteran soldier told him that kneeling was probably the most respectful way to show your protest, because Colin was sitting. He had sat for a few games before he ever took the knee at the suggestion of a military soldier. And so Kaylin Haywood goes on to say, as was quoted in his article, he asks, quote, "Is there a different bar for people of color from Wisconsin to be honored as opposed to white non-Wisconsinites?" He went on to say that the majority party doesn't care about political violence unless it affects people who look like you or think like you. And because we've had legislators, Democratic legislators, who've been killed. Republicans ain't had no damn resolutions, ain't honored nobody, didn't say nothing about them, didn't name them even in the Charlie Kirk resolution. So I appreciate the pushback. And I appreciate Kaylin Haywood using the word white. Because I get people who say stuff to me all the time like, "Michelle, do you have to say white so much?" Well, what you want me to say? The non-black people? The this and the that? See, that's the problem. We play with people too much. Call a thing a thing. Call a spade a spade. I ain't got time for you to be reading between the lines. Say what needs to be said. And I appreciate that he used the word white, because people act like it's a boogie word and you can't say that. Yeah, don't tune into this show, because you're going to definitely hear that. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You are on a roll, which is very interesting. I appreciate your awareness of what's going on in the state, because while we see all this crazy stuff at the national level on the world stage, we can't neglect to call out things that are happening that affect us the most, which was where we live in the state. And the fact that these Republican folks seem to discount anything and try to justify wrong when everybody knows it's wrong, and then you're the villain for calling it out, it just shows the audacity of these people. They really must think people of color are stupid. And when we use logic to show them the errors in their ways, they want to play word semantics, and you can't say white. Why not? Because that's who is the bane of our pain. It is caused by white people.
Well, look, I absolutely am somebody that appreciates that comment and that position, because I do. I have people that have said, "Michelle, like, do you have to say that?" And I'm like, well, what am I going to say, y'all? Because y'all ain't got no problem if I say black people. Y'all had no problem with that at all. And I'm not going to be afraid to use terminology that, even though race is a social construct, I can hear Keith in the background right now. This is not a real thing. But since that's what we use, those are the boxes that we check. That's what I'm going to say. And we got too many people running and hiding from what's going on in front of us and trying to protect people's feelings along the way. You ain't worried about my feelings. You're not worried about how you treat me.
Well, I think if you say, let's think about this. Okay, instead of using the word white, what are alternative words? What are they?
You don't want them words.
I'm just saying. So if you can't say white, then what should you say? Is it majority?
And that's what people like. You know, non-blacks, the majority, the so and so and so and so. I'm like, I ain't got time for all that. I don't have time for all that. I don't have time.
This is what really I think was problematic with how this way of thinking grows to such problems, because people wouldn't use. I hated the word when they were talking about misinformation or misrepresentation. It's a lie. People understand that word,
right?
But people, they softened it, and Trump is a liar, not misinformed.
Yeah, alternative facts. You're a liar.
You're a liar. So call it what it is.
Right.
And I think you got to reach people at the simplest level. A 5-year-old understands the word lie. They understand that. You say misinformation, they'll look at you like, what are you talking about?
Absolutely. Thank you, bro. I appreciate
you keep doing what you do.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. And he said something, and I want to pivot and do this because he talked about, we got to pay attention and keep our eye on what's local. And let me go back because I want to see if I can pull this up for the folks that have been harping about we need to do something more drastic with these reckless drivers in the city. Let me see if I can pull it up. There is now legislation that has been passed in both houses. I think it's on Tony Evers' desk about reckless drivers in Milwaukee or in Wisconsin. Hang on. Let me see if they will bring it up. Here it is. So I can hear Tyrone Dumas in the background. Dumas cheering. Local Milwaukee officials and Republican lawmakers wanted legislation that would help police penalize reckless drivers and keep them off the streets. It was stalled for months until now. The state assembly passed the bill in March, sending it to the Senate, where most of these bills go to die. But on October 14th, and I'm paraphrasing some of the article, the first time the Senate met in more than 90 days. Senate ain't met in 3 months in the state legislature. Okay. The legislation was placed on the agenda and passed. Now it's on Governor Evers' desk where they believe he will sign it. And Bob Donovan and Senator Van Wangard out of Racine, Donovan out of Greenfield, even though that's suspect, we don't know where he lived for real, would strengthen a law that Evers signed in 2023 that allowed police to tow and impound vehicles used in reckless driving offenses. The strict conditions in the current law means that Milwaukee Police Department rarely use it. The law only applies when the person cited for reckless driving owns the vehicle. And frequently we had people that were in stolen vehicles that were using these cars. And so you couldn't impound those cars. So what this bill has done is say that they have expanded the law so that any vehicle driven recklessly, stolen or borrowed can be impounded. The cost of the impoundment and any outstanding fines must be paid before getting the car back. But it appears that if you report your car stolen, then you won't have to pay to get your car out if you report it stolen. Because a lot of the Democrats was like, wait a minute, y'all going too far. Owners of stolen vehicles should not have to pay to get their car out of impound. So Donovan agrees they shouldn't be victimized twice, is what he said. That's the way he phrased it. The bill would also allow for towing or impoundment regardless of whether the driver has a prior record of reckless driving, instead of being a repeat offender like it is in the current law. So they've changed that. So the mayor obviously is supporting this. And they passed this resolution back in 2023 with the goal of getting state lawmakers to strengthen the statute. And of course, the Milwaukee Police Association, they supported. The Chiefs of Police Association, the Sheriffs and Deputies Association, all support the bill. Again, I appreciate that the Democrats were raising concerns. What if a parent lets my child use the car and then the child engages in reckless driving? So I didn't have to report it stolen. They didn't steal it. I had no idea my child was going to do this in my car. So they've been able to, figure out some things so that the police has some level of discretion about whether or not to impound that car, but it is left at that level that a parent potentially could get their car back. So just so folks know, there was an amendment to this introduced on Monday. to get at that piece about if the parent lets their child drive their car and the child is out here driving recklessly. So all of this had to go back and forth. So we'll see at the end of the day what this looks like. Even if it's passed, then the city of Milwaukee has to come in and they have to do legislation at the city level to be able to incorporate these changes in the way they currently have the laws on the books at the city level. So I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. And there was one other thing locally. Oh, the cell phone bans in schools. Since I'm local for a minute, there is legislation that is on the desk. I mean, I'm sorry. There is a bill that is in the legislature to ban cell phones in classrooms. Hang on, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. All right, so just pulling up the story. There we go. Wisconsin lawmakers have sent a bill to Governor Evers' desk that seeks to ban public school students from using cell phones in classrooms. The state Senate passed it on yesterday. That will require public school boards to develop a policy by July that generally bars students from using cell phones during the school day. The legislation passed the Senate 29-4, was approved by the state assembly back in February. And so school boards can create, that would give school boards the ability to create exemptions for certain reasons like emergency situations and to aid a student's mental health. So one of the Democratic senators, Melissa Ratcliffe, she said that, instead of passing legislation addressing the prevalence of cell phones, why y'all not passing nothing that deals with the prevalence of firearms and all these school shootings that we have? So of course there is Dems that, and it's a valid point. We won't do nothing about guns, but we're going to do something about cell phones. You got to love it. So this will most likely get signed by the governor. I don't see why he wouldn't sign it. I know there are a lot of teachers that would appreciate it. And they said that the vast majority of public school districts, 90%, already report having a policy similar to what is in the bill. I know some teachers who have said that they don't have cell phones that are allowed in their classrooms, and that these cell phones are actually taken at the door when students first walk in, and they're given back at the end of the day. So just so you know, as a parent, I need to be able to contact my child. I want my baby to have a cell phone. This may be coming to a school near you if your child's school is not already doing this. And then again, this is public schools. If your child goes to a private school, some of these things are not geared towards private schools. They have a great degree of autonomy in what they are able to do in relationship to their own schools. Last local story, I think I want to mention maybe one other. But the last local story I want to mention is Bobby Kelsey, the athletic, I don't know if her title's athletic director for MPS. Let me see. So there was an article in the paper that she has been terminated from MPS. Let me see. And the reason why this stood out to me is, okay, so yeah, Bobby Kelsey out of role with MPS Athletics. That was the story that was in the Journal Sentinel. Bobby Kelsey is a Black female. And this story raised some red flags for some people. No longer employed as an interscholastic athletics commissioner for MPS. The former commissioner, Bill Molbeck, is going to take on the additional day-to-day operational responsibilities. Leadership faced criticism for mishandling suspensions and a paperwork error that initially led to a postseason ban for 2 schools. So we know that there had been some issues connected with Miss Kelsey. I remember something as simple as the folks from King talking about the fact that there had been all of a sudden a limit put on the number of cheerleaders that a school could have. And that caused a lot of angst for people. So there have been different things. I don't know a ton about this sister, her management style and the way she did things, but I'm going to tell you, there were a number of people black people that did not feel Bobby Kelsey. Again, I don't know enough about her to make those kinds of comments or
that in some of the reports that I've heard, there were people that went months without getting paid, referees in the WIAA, which all of that comes under her auspices, if you will. She just wasn't cutting it. She wasn't good.
Okay, well, I remember, the stuff that kept these kids from being able to play was a big deal. They said
that was all her. They didn't do
paperwork mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bans were later rescinded, but it just caused a lot of angst. So
they forfeited games that and they were there. Normally you forfeit because you don't have enough players or what have you, but these were paperwork errors that caused these teams to forfeit games, coming directly out of her office.
Well, so it just looks like right now that it's a wrap for her, and it's crazy because she got the job in 2019. The guy who had done it for 17 years before her. That's the guy who's coming back to do it.
Right.
So
sometimes you got to eat crow.
Well, I just hate it. It's just it takes us a long time to get these roles when we get them. And this kind of stuff happens, then of course I talked about it yesterday, the apprehension about hiring somebody else black to do it. We just got to go through a bunch of hoops to be able to get some of these jobs. So I hate to see that this has happened. But again, when it was going around yesterday, the looks that I got from people were like, don't really have nothing to say about that, Michelle. So I'm like, okay, I'll let it go. Let me go to the phone line. Got a caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Doctor.
You know what?
Anyway, I want to make some points. First of all, I want to make an observation. I want to know if I have your real phone number, because I've been sending stuff to you and I don't know if you're getting it. Another thing, this ice raid in Chicago.
Yes.
I just learned, somebody sent me something that, these states, Texas in particular, was sending migrants to Chicago. That sets them up to do the ICE thing because they know those people are there because they found them there.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to say at this present month in time. You have a good one.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Speaking of the ICE raids, a couple of things. I still, am just burnt up by the brother that called in here trying to tell us that what we saw, we didn't see. That these stories were, to some degree fabrications. There was no photos of any black children in zip ties. I know Don Lemon had a brother on his show that talked about being a part of that whole incident at the apartment building, being zip tied. And he was telling them, I'm an American citizen. Here's my ID. They weren't interested in his ID. They did not care. They just wanted to mistreat him and handle him crazy. And he was like, well, what are y'all doing exactly? And so, he talked about it. Jermaine just shared a video with me this morning of ICE agents up in Walgreens in Chicago, in a Chicago area store, walking up in Walgreens looking for immigrants. And, people started like getting out the way. And one black boy in particular ran like, I ain't trying to be caught up in this. They run and chase him and tackle him to the ground. And you can hear people yelling, he's an American citizen. What are you doing? Stop. And the ICE agent is sitting on top, and it's clearly a black boy. Don't look biracial. Don't look like he got nothing going on but black. And the ICE agent, whose mask is down from struggling to pin this boy to the ground, well, what you run for? And the black boy look over his shoulder like, man, because ain't nobody trying to be bothered with y'all. Then he realizes his mask is down, so he pulls his mask back up. What are they doing, y'all? And then they showed a video of the altercation that the ICE agent had with the car crash, and then the Chicago people show up and start throwing stuff at the ICE agents, but you're creating a lot of this turmoil. And you got a lot of racist yahoos that are in ICE that are perpetuating this mess. You do. That's why we love the anonymity. I said the word wrong. I'll get it out. Of being able to wear those face masks, because then you can act the fool and not have to worry about anybody being able to identify you. But this baby is laying on the ground because he see y'all looking all crazy up in Walgreens, and he like, and he get out the door. What you run for? It's America. I can run in America. I can run in America. That's not a crime, fam. And literally people screaming to the top of their lungs that this baby is an American citizen. I got to take a break. But when we come back, these basic things that we have said in this country, this is a right. This is a right. We know for Black people, a lot of these rights have been recently garnered. We didn't, hey, bro, you loud. Jermaine be having his ear pods in, and he must be listening to Deangelo or somebody, and he just humming and getting down. Hey, I can't even concentrate. He having
so
whole,
good to me.
I mean, having a whole party in his head over here. Oh, shut up.
Bro, you loud, bro.
Hey. Oh.
So, you know, I got to take a break.
It's hard to find good help, Michelle.
It is. It is.
She sound like somebody, mama.
I've said that.
You and I have, we're still looking. You and I are looking for the one that can complete us,
Well,
you didn't know you was included in that?
Yeah, you were included.
No.
He's about to complete us.
We're a great team together. We just need that 1/3 wheel,
And
third piece.
Well, Ezekiel was
Ezekiel.
way up in the middle of the air.
You didn't even say Ezekiel.
I said Ezekiel saw a wheel way up.
I'm so going to break.
We'll be back.
Y'all, I will be right back. I got to talk about what's going on with the Supreme Court today and civil rights, yet another attack. And I want to be clear. Clarence Thomas, every day, Thurgood Marshall rolls over in his grave every day since Clarence Thomas has been put on that court. Every day. Every day. This is a Black man that is dedicated his judicial career on the Supreme Court to eviscerating the rights of Black folks. Darkest thing on the Supreme Court. Black man, every day, Thurgood Marshall is pissed off. I'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to the show. So let me tell you what's going on today in terms of this U.S. Supreme Court and a case that is being heard that literally could change the game significantly for communities of color. I have talked at nauseum about redistricting on this show. Was a part of watching the work and the fight that Senator Taylor, State Representative Myers, and other folks, but Sylvia Ortiz had been in this battle in and out for a while. Um, but the work that was being done to try to protect Black voting districts so that we could have physical representation in these state capitals and even at the federal level. And yes, there were Black legislators, who have spoken out uh, about redistricting, but there is a deviation in how some of the Black legislators see it. I've talked about Eric Holder supporting what was known as opportunity zones. The fact that we would stretch a Black district over into a predominantly white district, diluting the voting power of Black folks and Black people. You could run for office in that district. And I just quickly give the example of, let's just say, Lena Taylor's old district, which ran from right here, Shorewood, Glendale, up to the end of the city of Milwaukee, up by 107th, crossing across the freeway, going over into Menominee Falls, and bringing all of those people in, bringing in some other white residents to the north, and you dilute that district so that Black folks got a harder time determining and being able to select necessarily the candidate of their choice. And so, white Democrats were saying, hey, so you saying you got a problem with a white Democrat representing a predominantly or an area with a lot of Black folks? Like, you don't think we gonna be fair? And the message was, it's not about whether or not I think you're gonna be fair. The message is, I can go make my own arguments on behalf of my own people. And it is important to see Black faces in the state capitol. It is important to see, Black folks in leadership roles at the table. Unlike that nonsense that Meech said about, I don't have to see no Black people sitting around the cabinet table with Donald Trump as long as they voting in my best interest. That's damn nonsense. I need to see Black people and Black people that I chose to be in these rooms. So the case that's happening right now, oral arguments are happening in a case that stems out of Louisiana Callis, and I may be saying that last name wrong, but this is a case that's going to test how far states can go when they consider race in redrawing congressional district maps to be able to comply with the VRA, which is the Voting Rights Act. So back in 2024, Louisiana enacted a new map creating a second majority Black district because the population has shifted. What did I say happened in Texas? Texas has a surge in population that's caused predominantly by Hispanic, Latino, and Black people. It wasn't because a bunch of white people moved to Texas, y'all get more people. It was because Black and brown people moved into Texas and they got more people. So Texas is able to create and get new congressional seats because it's based on population. They create these seats and make it so that all the white people got better chances of winning these seats. So you get the extra seats because of an influx of Black and brown voters, but you draw the districts in a way that doesn't reflect that. So you end up with 3 more white people in the congressional delegation from Texas off the backs of Black and brown people. So there have been districts that have said, we know that we got an influx in population because of Black and brown people. So we're going to give district lines, we're going to draw district lines that reflect that so that those people can have a voice at the table. So this MAP was enacted in 2024 in Louisiana to create a second majority Black district. A 3-judge federal court struck it down as unconstitutional racial gerrymander, finding that the legislature relied too heavily on race in drawing the district lines. But the Supreme Court allowed that map to be used for the purposes of the 2024 election, but said we'll come back to it and we'll have this full-fleshed argument later. Later has now come. Those oral arguments are happening today. The justices are going to be deciding whether you can deliberately create an additional majority Black district to satisfy the Voting Rights Act if it's consistent with or if it's prohibited by the 14th and the 15th Amendments. So, just so we are clear, the challenge law is Louisiana's redistricting statute, Senate Bill 8, for people that want to go look this up and follow it. And who is challenging this? A group of voters who identify as non-African American. See, call a spade a spade. What are you? Who filed an equal protection challenge. These is white folks. These are white folks. Look at the racial makeup of Louisiana. How you get this influx of people. But we don't want race to be a factor in drawing these lines. When in fact, we are using race as a factor to draw them to favor white representation. They're talking about it unlawfully divided voters based on race. Y'all been doing it since we've been in this country. Since we've been in this country, race has been a factor. So you can't use race to address the problems that were created and that we still suffer from. But you use race to get us into this situation, but we can't use race to get us out of the situation. So we will see what happens in relationship to this, because this potentially can gut one of the last remaining, protections that we got from the Voting Rights Act, from the VRA. Louisiana is arguing that the legislature was effectively required by the court's ruling to create a second majority Black district. The courts found that the 2022 map likely violated Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Lawmakers say they acted to comply with those decisions. And so we're going to see what ends up happening. But there is a number of groups that are going to be protesting on the courthouse at the Supreme Court today. There are folks that are showing a show of support down in Louisiana for Black folks in terms of these oral arguments today. And we will be paying attention to see, because people are talking about racial quotas and this and that. But this is the thing. If Black people are responsible for the increase in population, why wouldn't Black people get that seat at the table? But again, they use race to draw maps to keep us out of power. And Black people are arguing, but you're using our bodies to secure another seat for yourself. But we're responsible for the increase in population. Why wouldn't we get the seat? Again, you can use race to discriminate and get people in these trick bags, but they don't want you now to use race to get you out of them. What's good for the goose, evidently, is not good for the gander. Keep your eye on it. Make sure that you are paying attention. There is so much, though, to keep you preoccupied. As we are now, what day is this for the shutdown? Is it 15? I know we 3 weeks in. Is it 15, 17? I think it's day 15. And everybody's digging in their heels. Mike Johnson has said, I am not going to call the House back into session until the Democrats agree unequivocally, no ifs, ands, and buts, that we will not be voting on the extension of subsidies to help with the Affordable Care Act And the folks that receive that, we won't be talking about that. And the Democrats are like, these things begin to happen on November 1 and at the end of the year, December 31st. When is a good time, Republicans? Y'all have demonstrated y'all can't be trusted on health care. So when should we talk about it? Now, I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of hurt that's happening as it relates to the shutdown. In some cases, we have not actually felt it yet, but people will be missing paychecks effective this week. There are people that are going to be permanently fired. We know that Donald Trump is doing this not to trim the fat in government, but to be mean and vindictive. I don't know what's the end when this thing is over. I do not know. I do not know. But they are telling people to prepare for more layoffs. That's what Trump and them is saying. And all of this is a tactic to bully Democrats that we are going to physically hurt your people if you don't give us what we want. But Republicans, you have had all year to negotiate and deal with the subsidies. We could give the wealthiest people in this country permanent tax breaks. Donald Trump is somewhere making a deal with folks in Argentina to trade money. We're going to take, I think their money is the pesos, which is like, I don't know, our dollar. How much is the peso worth against our dollar? Let me see. Peso. The pesos is worth 54 cents to an American dollar. We're going to do a money exchange. It will result in Argentina getting $20 billion. They're going to get 46 cents on every dollar when we do this money exchange. U.S. farmers are losing their mind. U.S. farmers are saying, wait a damn minute. You create these tariffs so that we have nowhere to sell these dang soybeans. China, one of our biggest purchasers, is now buying soybeans from Argentina, in addition to other countries. And you got Iowa farmers and other farmers across the country saying, so let me just make sure I got this straight. We struggling in this country right now because of your stupid tariffs. We have nowhere to sell our products. We have nowhere to go to sell our freaking soybeans. And the country that is now benefiting because of these ignorant tariffs you have put in place. And now you're telling China, we looking at doing 100% on top of the 30%. So your tariffs would be 130%. So you are talking about, we're going to do a currency swap. And you're going to prop up Argentina, who is getting all our business right now. So Trump is like, I'm going to get y'all a bailout. I'm going to get y'all a bailout. Even if you bail us out, bruh, we still don't have nobody to sell our product to. So I'll be able to pay off the loan that I took out to bring in this crop. And even if I'm okay where I can grow another crop, where is it going? Because of all your tariff wars, countries are not messing with U.S. Manufacturers and producers in this way right now. But you're going to go help the people that's getting our business. Let that linger. Let that linger for a second. And I'm coming to the phone line, but then the other jewel that is the Trump administration and involving, a rural community. You literally are saying that you're going to let Qatar build an Air Force base in America? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You are. I'm coming. I'm coming to the phone line. In fact, I'm gonna go to the phone line first because I don't want to interrupt my thought when I say this. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Morning. Oh my Lord, you just blew my mind. Oh Lord. So what's the thing with the Qatar? You just every time you speak, I got a new question. So I'm brand new. You don't. Took me totally off guard. What is going on with Qatar? I just is too unbelievable.
So
I'm already blown away by Jared Kushner, who didn't tell them that Netanyahu has the most important holiday of the year. You start reading Genesis on Simchat Torah, so then Iraq wasn't going to go, Turkey wasn't going to go. If Netanyahu shows up, it's the most important holiday other than Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah. You start your cycle of reading the Torah at this Simchat Torah. So then where was Jared Kushner, Mr. Jew? Why didn't Trump know that? And when you said the Russian through, I'm thinking, oh, come on, Michelle. You've been waiting for 2 years, and I'm all mad at you. And then when I was reading this thing, because I had to check Keith, I'm thinking, wait a minute, what's going on? So, you know me, I'm not trying to be nasty. This is too much. Qatar is going to have a military base here?
On Friday, Pete Hegseth announced that the federal government had reached an agreement with Qatar to build a facility at an Air Force base in Idaho.
Oh, my God.
The facility.
Oh, my God.
Now, Pete Hegseth is saying it's not going to be a separate base, but it is going to be a group of buildings that will be built to handle training and maintenance of Qatari troops.
Qatar is the main funder of Hamas. Qatar is the cause of everything. Qatar is the Superman. They fund all those college programs I told you about. All that racist
Qatar is
junk.
also who gave Donald Trump his luxury plane.
Yeah, yes.
So just the idea that you have the U.S. military entertaining something like this. What we expect is to be a squadron operations and hangars for their F-15QA because the Qatari version of that jet that they bought through foreign military sales, it's definitely still a U.S. Air Force base, but they'll be training and lodging their planes and hosting their planes on a U.S. Air Force base.
It's so hard for me to listen to right now. It's just it's going in one ear out there. I'm hearing what you're saying. It's just astounding. As much as I've debated with you guys, this is just blowing my mind. If this is true, where are you reading this from? I'm sorry, but where did you read this from?
It's on the Associated Press. It's everywhere though. You can look it up. All of the major wires have picked it up. USA Today, Politico,
I'm shaking.
Everybody. And
I'm already cold just because it's getting cold, but I'm just really shaking. This is hard to breathe. It's hard to breathe for me right this minute. It's really too strange. Right.
And we have had back in 2019 a Saudi Air Force officer training program at Pensacola Naval Air Station that killed 3 U.S. service members, wounded others in a mass shooting.
Wait, say that again? Say that again? What?
Back in 2019, we had a Saudi Air Force officer training base in Pensacola at the Pensacola Naval Air Station, in which they ended up killing 3 U.S. service members and wounding several others in a mass shooting. After investigating, the U.S. sent home 21 Saudi military students after investigators said they had expressed jihadist and anti-American sentiments on social media and had contact with child pornography online. But we training them, and they're on our bases talking about killing Americans.
It's so important. It's so important for you and me to talk. This is just blowing my mind.
So, John, I got to do this because I'm up against the clock. Did you want to make a comment real quick? But Because
that guy yesterday was funny. That guy was funny when he said, "Don't let that guy Joe Gunn go." I was just listening. That was funny. But
Well,
anyway,
look.
so I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt
No,
you.
you're
I'll
right.
let you go. 'Cause I know you go. I know you gotta go. So.
But John, I'm up against the clock.
Yeah.
So
you are.
let's agree to try to do this again tomorrow, okay?
Mm-hmm,
All right, thank you. I appreciate the
You
call.
too. Have fun.
Yep.
Have
I don't
fun.
know about
Bye-bye.
fun, but we're gonna have something. Let me do this because I want to take the last couple of minutes of the show, and I'm like going through the list, like, okay, I'm knocking them down, but I got to talk about these airports that are refusing to run Christy Nome's commercials in the airport, talking about. Lakeisha reminded us the 9/11 hijackers went to flight school here in America too. I mean, this is ignorance. This is, but see, that's why you got a doofus running the Secretary of Defense. I'm not calling it no stupid War Department. They want these dummies there because then you can make these deals and do these things, and people will justify them. But you are putting Americans in harm's way. We have seen what happens when you allow this to happen on American soil. So I will get to some of this other stuff tomorrow. Christy Nome wanted a message similar to what they've posted on federal websites about the shutdown, that would have said the Democrats are the reason why, we got the government shut down. I got to go back and get the specifics. And there's airports across the country saying, we're not putting that mess up. We're not running that. We're not going to play that. It's partisan. It does not belong in an airport. You are misusing the authority of your office to spread partisan propaganda. And so now they're trying to figure out how they're going to penalize these airports who refuse to carry your partisan messages. The other thing that we got to pay attention to, I can't get to today, what is going on in Israel? So there were 20 bodies that needed to be returned, along with the people that were still alive, the hostages that were still alive. And so far, 8 have been returned. What they're beginning to figure out is some of these people, they may not even know where all these bodies are. Okay. One body that they returned, they found out it was not one of the 20 that they were expecting. This was not a person, I don't believe that it was even Jewish. And so now this is, everybody amped up. And if they don't get us these bodies, we're going to cut off humanitarian aid to the Gaza people, to the Palestinian people. And I'm like, so hold on, let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. They done returned all the living hostages. They have given you 8 of the 20. They are working with you. You're going to starve living people who have nowhere to sleep, no place to pee, nowhere to wash their behind, nowhere to cook their food, nowhere to lay their head that does not have concrete and gravel under it. And you're going to stop living people from getting humanitarian aid until you get back the remaining 12 bodies of deceased people. So I care more about the dead than I do the people that are living and that through no fault of their own have suffered a horrific tragedy. And people are literally talking about they hot, they mad. What do you think the people look like when they go back and they realize there's nothing left? But I don't have time to get to that today. I'll get to it tomorrow. What I do want to do is end the show here. There are a number of people today who are shopping at the grocery store, making cakes, baking, and making spaghetti, and baking other things to get us ready for the repast tomorrow for Azoria Jones. This is the other quiet part. We took care of all of the financial stuff that we needed to. Now it's just about making sure that there was food for this repast. And there is this army of folks who are, as I'm sitting here today, they on their way to the store. We've been on the phone last night. Everybody checking. Okay, so it was 2 sheet cakes. It was this. It was that. When I tell you I am overwhelmed by our community and the work that has been done to make sure that we could help this family. And so I want to remind people, because a couple of people reached out and said, Michelle, when is the service? We are here. The service is tomorrow. The viewing is at 10 a.m. The service is at 11 a.m. It is hosted at the Unity Gospel House of Prayer. That address is 1747 North 12th Street, right across the street from Speed Queen, I believe is the location. And so we're doing that. So I hadn't given folks an update, but when we talked to the cemetery, the last payment was made over there. You take a sigh and then you turn around, and I got a spreadsheet, with who's doing what, who's bringing what, who's gonna meet me here at the station to drop off food, water, and the response from people has been nothing short of amazing. So that's just an update. I will not actually be attending the service. I will be getting the food to the repast location to get that set up for the family. So I won't see you. If anybody goes to the service, I won't see y'all there. But that's a wrap for the show today. When I tell you, I appreciate this community. I appreciate y'all. To my bros in the studio, Mr. Rideout is actually going to be performing, or doing this service for us. He found us a pastor in the 11th hour because of a cancellation. I appreciate y'all. So that is the wrap for the show today. I will talk to everybody tomorrow. And at some point, I got to figure out a way to absolutely figure out how to thank y'all for what y'all have stepped up and done to help this child be put away with a degree of decency. All right, y'all. That's the show for today. Bruhs, I appreciate y'all. Family, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.